susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
One game, 60 seconds. 4 contestants playing with household items. And now it's time for Minute to Win It. The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
So, hello Philippines! Hello world! Kamusta naman tayong lahat dito ngayon? So, ngayong araw na to, meron tayong panibagong episode na naman ng Minute to Win It Nursing Edition. So, ang topic ng challenge natin ay nursing care of a family with a toddler. So, about sa toddler, ang magiging mga challenges natin ngayon. So, definitely, dahil nursing edition to, ang mga players natin ay ang mga nagagandahan at nagagwapuhang mga nurses. So, ready na ba kayo?
Ready na.
Yes,
Ready na.
At hindi kayo ready So, kinakabahan pa sa mga players ko dito. So, alam ko, excited na kayo para malaman kung sinong mga players natin ngayong araw na to. Pero before that, meron tayong dalawang teams, Team 1 and Team 2. So, we start off with introducing the Team 1 members. So, we have the Team 1 players. Meet our first set of competitive players. We have Miss Mary Joy de Pusoy. Ikaw naman dyan, Miss Mary Joy. Hi! Kaway-kaway! Okay. Talented nandito sa gitna. Ganda-ganda lang iting ng babae ito. We have Miss Lady Itaas.
Hi!
And we have their last member, Miss Rian Mendoza. We welcome Team 1 players, pero syempre, ang kanilang competitors hindi namang magpapatalo dahil we have the Team 2 players. Team 2 players, we have Miss Marcy Layosa.
Kabahan na kayo.
Andito na, sabi niyo, si Trixie na. Ang nag-iisang lalaki sa team na ito, si Mr. Ian Castillo.
Makuha kayo sa tingin Team 1.
And, syempre, ang mastermind ng Team 2, Miss Charin Trapero.
Hi guys! Si Charin lang yung mabait sa inyo eh. Mabait talaga ako.
Ayan, nakikilala na natin ang mga Team 2 players. Syempre, magpapatalo ba ako? Ako ang iyong host for today. I am Dara Villafura. Welcome and enjoy the show. I will be explaining the game mechanics. Familiar ba kayo sa larong Minute to Win It? O pumunta lang kayo dito para wala lang?
Nahila lang po.
Nasama lang po ako dito.
Niyaya lang po ako ni Cha.
May premyo dito, girl. Ano ka ba?
May premyo na dito. Sponsored by Mr. Ian Castillo. 100 pesos sa Gcash. Galingan nyo. We have our game mechanics. So, the game mechanics, first, contestants or groups take turns in doing the different challenges. Second, they are only given 1 minute to do every challenge. Third, failure to complete tasks will result in elimination. And fourth, the last contestant or group to win the last challenge will become the Minute to Win It champion. Okay guys, galingan nyo dahil meron tayong premyo after neto. Level 1. Oh, ready na ba kayo mga kinakabahan dyan?
Game na po.
Okay, sige. Wait, may idea muna ba kayo kung ano ang level 1 round natin? Anong title?
The last man standing.
Okay. Nako, Mr. Castillo, hindi ka tama dahil ang title natin ngayon ay...
Gandita ka, be.
Ganda ka, Jarn.
Alright.
Okay. So, the first round. Players must obtain a complete assessment of a toddler with delayed language development. Pero, meron tayong twist dito. For Team 1, ito lang ang assigned sa inyo. Team 1 will assess the chief concern, history of the chief concern, family profile, and history of past illnesses. Nakuha nyo ba yun? Nakuha nyo?
Parang ang hirap.
Yes po.
Mukha po.
Yes.
Team 2, you're assigned to assess pregnancy history, family medical history, day history, review of systems, and physical examination. Carry boom boom ba, Team 2?
Carrie Bells.
Carry na.
Yan na
Saan
yun.
ba yung team 1?
So, grabe naman talaga yung pagka-competitive ng Team 2 and Team 1. The game begins now.
Failure to complete this task in 60 seconds may result in elimination. The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, guys, huwag kayo ma-pressure, 60 seconds na naman. May tanong ako.
Atat na atat.
Team 1, anong sa tingin niyo chief concern ng toddler?
Di ko alam. Kayo, baka may idea kayo dyan.
Surprise.
Wala kayo dyan, Team 1.
Okay, Team 2, anong response ka? Di daw nila alam yung sagot.
Same lang.
Sorry, kami lang
Same din
nakakaalam
sa
sa sagot.
kanila.
Ayaw nila i-share ang sagot sa inyo, guys. Okay, we have 33 seconds. Pwede pa kayo check kung tama pa ba yung decision sa buhay na sumali niyo dito.
Pwede pa ba back out?
Bawal na, be.
Mukhang kinakabahan na yung Team 1, oh.
Kami lang
Last
to.
9
Asa ka?
seconds.
Maniin namin yan.
Okay, timer ends now. So, ready na ba? Ready na ba yung mga sagot natin? Or pati utak nyo nawala na rin? 60 seconds is now up and we are now going to see kung tama ba ang mga sagot nila. And mag-share tayo ng mga sagot ng Team 1 and Team 2. So, first we start off with the introduction. A toddler with delayed language development. So, Terry Wallace is a 2.5-year-old. You see her at a private pediatrician office for a health maintenance visit. Nakita niyo daw si Terry Wallace. Nakausap niyo na ba siya?
Siyempre, hindi pa.
Si Terry Wallace daw is 2.5-year-old and nandun siya sa private pediatrician office for health maintenance visit. Ano kaya ang chief concern, Miss Lady Itaas?
So, para sa chief concern, all she says is, no, no, no. Shouldn't she speak in sentences by now?
Next, since alam na natin ang chief concern, no, no, no lang daw ang sinasabi, reklamo ng nanay. Tama ba ang nanay?
So, for the history of chief concern, Terry's mother states that she feels her child's development is behind typical milestones. Terry says words clearly but frequently reverts to baby talk. The best sentence she can accomplish is me go. Terry's mother is presently pregnant with second child and appears exhausted and grew impatient with Terry because she wouldn't talk for clinical personnel. And then next, Terry's mother states she works in the chemical industry and is concerned chemicals affected Terry mentally during her pregnancy. And lastly, she is concerned same thing will happen to baby from present pregnancy.
Team 2, agree ba kayo sa history ng chief concern nila?
mukhang sablay yung iba. Mukhang matatalo yung Team 1. Talaga, nanalo talaga kami.
Galing na.
Okay, titingnan natin kung tama ang history of chief concern na na-assess nila. We have the family profile.
And for the family profile, Terry's mother has a degree in chemistry and works as a researcher in local chemical plant. Next is her father is a personal manager at the same company and the finances are no problem. Also, the family lives in a large home in the suburb of city. And next is Terry has own room. She has an adequate space. And lastly, she attends daycare center from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily.
History of past illnesses. Ito na ang last for the team 1. So, group 1 and group 2, hindi kayo kung tama ang sasabihin nila.
So for the history of past illnesses, Terry has had 2 episodes of bilateral otitis media, one at 4 months and one at 18 months. So she also had 1 episode of diarrhea at 12 months, which required overnight hospitalization. Both of her parents smoke and do not try to keep a smoke-free area for the child. And routine health maintenance visits has been kept. And immunizations are also up to date.
Wait, group 1, may tanong muna ako. Ano sa tingin nyo yung reason kung bakit ayaw nilang magkaroon ng smoke-free area para sa anak nila?
Hindi ko sure. Kasi, ewan ko lang. Siguro
Naman,
sobrang
baka-
stress niya at gusto niya palagi siyang nag-i-smoke.
Tama, tama.
Okay, thank you so much, group 1. Now we move on to team 2. Kaya pa sila nakipagbardagulat, tingnan natin kung tama yung sagot nila. Team 1, kayo naman ang humusga. Okay, we have pregnancy history.
So for pregnancy history, her mother had planned following 4 years of an infertility workup. Terry's mother was treated with medication and surgery for endometriosis and is currently pregnant again as she was told to have a second child close to first before endometriosis returned. Then, prenatal care was begun at 2 months. Terry was a vaginal birth attended by a nurse midwife and she has no complications known and breathed spontaneously. Also, she had an APGAR score of 9 and 9. Both Terry and her mother were discharged from the birthing center 12 hours post-birth.
Wow, yun pala naging pregnancy history ng nanay. So, buntis pala ang nanay ngayon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, for family medical history naman, yung naisip ng Team 2, syempre di yung naisip ng Team 1. An uncle of child's father has sickle cell anemia. Both parents are negative for trait and disease. The maternal grandfather also has lung cancer.
Oh, hindi nyo daw
Daming
naisip to,
problema.
team 1.
Di talaga
Wala,
wala
tahimik
namang
na sila.
karna pa sa'yo eh.
Parang mali. Ano ba yan?
So, we have the day history.
For Terry's nutrition, she sits at the family table for meals and is a picky eater but overall intake is good. So for the sleep naman, nakatulog siya 8 hours a night with 1 hour nap at daycare. Sa mga ginagawa niya naman daily is naglalaro siya ng toy telephone and pulls a toy spider on wheels, takes teddy bear with her bed and a nap. So yung growth niya naman based sa mga nakuha namin is for 2 months, nakakagawa na siya ng social smile. For 4 months, rolled over. 6 months, her first word was dada. 7 months, nakakaupo na siya mag-isa. And for her 14 months is she can walk steadily na.
Miss Mayosa, sample naman dyan ng social smile.
Ah,
Ganda naman talaga.
Feeling ko kasi kailangan ng team 1 ng inspiration. Kaya,
agree ako dyan.
Parang hindi kami na-inspire, be.
ay, Ian, kaya ni Ian magpa-inspire.
Review of systems.
So, review of systems, dun sa genitourinary toilet training, hindi pa siya nag-start yung napansin namin.
Anong age ba dapat sa tingin nyo nag-start ang toilet training?
Sa tingin ko, dapat matrain na agad sila like before pa sila mag 2 years old. Sa tingin ko lang
Yeah.
naman, pero feel ko lang naman.
Ako, feeling ko, siguro before mag-2, mga ganyan, dapat kahit papano, nai-introduce na talaga sa kanila yung ganun.
So we have the last for our level 1 or first round, physical examination.
So, for the physical examination, yung height ng bata is 34 inches, 55%. Then weight niya, 5 pounds, 50%. Yung HC niya is 9.0, 50%. And then BMI, naglalan sa 16.1%. About her general appearance naman, meron siyang alert appearing, black and well-proportioned, 2 years old. Sa head naman, meron siyang normocephalic, both fontanelles are closed. And then sa eyes, meron siyang perla, which means it feels equal, and then round, reactive to light and accommodation. Meron siyang red reflex present. And then sa ears niya naman, meron siyang normal alignment, TMS, pink with cone of light present, moderate amount of cerumen rather, and left canal, drum not obstructed. The child turns toward whisper word, hearing comparable examen. Sa nose niya naman, meron tayong naris na pattern, midline septum, and no rhinitis. Mouth and throat, we have palate intact, 20 teeth present, no cavities, gag reflex active. Sa neck niya naman is meron tayong supple, no palpable lymph nodes, and midline trachea. Sa chest, meron tayong no unvititu sounds on auscultation. Respiratory rate is 22 breaths per minute. Heart rate is 110 beats per minute and no murmurs. Abdomen is all sounds present in all 4 quadrants. Liver palpable 1 cm under right lower costal margin. Spleen not palpable. Sa genitalia naman is normal female siya. Sa neuromuscular, meron siyang patellar reflex 2+, fine motor, picks up raisin with pincer grasp, gross motor, walks with wide space steps, language, not assessed, and child refused to repeat words for examiner.
So, napaka-detailed naman na physical examination ng Team 2. Ganito rin ba ka-detailed ang examination ng Team 1?
Di nila yan kaya.
Hindi na nakapagsalita ang Team 1.
Mas detailed yung sa amin.
Mas detailed. So, for the first round, titingnan natin kung may mai-eliminate ba sa inyo o wala. And the results of the round 1. Sino sa tingin niyong mai-eliminate?
Team 1.
Team 2.
Team 2 yan, panigurado.
So,
Yung host, yung mahilig.
Tingnan yan, mabagal na eh.
ang host na ang papatalsikin ng Team 1 at Team 2. Yan, malakas kayo kay Lord dahil walang na-eliminate sa inyong lahat. No one is eliminated for Team 1 and Team 2. So, congratulations, guys! Pasok pa kayo sa round 2. So, ready na ba kayo? Ready na ba kayo sa round 2? O, hinga-hinga muna. Inhale, exhale.
Feel ko yung team 1 hindi pa ready.
Kinakabahan na sila.
Baka nililipat niya lang sa amin.
Okay.
Dun eh.
So, ayan, dahil walang na-eliminate, we proceed with the round 2. Level 2 is the last man standing. So, may idea ba kayo anong title?
Last man standing.
Nagsubo nga talaga kayo ng Castillo. Mali! Mali ang mga title nyo dahil ang title natin for round 2 is...
Terrific questions. Tanong ko, sagot mo.
So we have the second round. For the second round, each player must provide an answer to each question I will be saying. So dapat lahat kayo sasagot. So the player who got the correct answer must provide the rationale for each choices after all the questions are asked. So the team who will get the most points wins this round. So, ayan, Team 1 and Team 2, ready na ba ang lahat?
Ready!
Thumbs up
Ready,
muna
ready na
tayo.
po.
Thumbs up. Yan. Is question number 11. Makinig ang lahat dahil hindi ko na uulitin. Terry's mother tells you that Terry has a temper tantrum almost every night after dinner because she wants dessert. How would you advise her to handle this? Letter A. Mimic a temper tantrum to show how one looks. Letter B. Put a teaspoonful of sugar or honey on her tongue. Letter C. Punish her by giving her time out for 15 minutes. And letter D. Tell her no one is listening to her and then ignore her. Team 1 and Team 2, ano ang iyong mga sagot?
Feel ko yung sa akin lang Ewan ko kung nag-agree yung mga kagrupo ko na punish her by giving her time out for 15 minutes. Kasi sobra naman yung every night bago magta-tantrum. Attitude ka, girl.
Tell her no one is listening.
Letter D. Oh, okay. Team 1.
Agree ako kay Miss Leosa. Letter D, feeling ko.
Letter D. Tell her no one is listening. So, question number 12. On 2 occasions, Terry has held her breath until she turns blue, faints, and slumps to the floor when she doesn't like a food. Which of the following would assure you that this was a temper tantrum and not a seizure? Letter A. The episode occurred when Terry was provoked. Letter B. Terry slept following the episode and was difficult to rouse. Letter C. The episodes occurred when Terry was in a public. And letter D. The episode occurred when Terry was eating. A, B, C, or D?
Para sa team namin, I think it's letter A.
Team 2, anong hula natin dyan?
Dito mag-agree ako sa team 1. Hindi ko kayo babardagulin ngayon.
Okay. Miss Trapero, anong sagot mo? Agree ka rin ba kay Mr.
Agree din
Castillo?
ako. Di ko man gusto mag-agree, pero sige, agree na lang.
Ang mukhang natatapakan ng pride ni Miss Trapero, pero sige na lang daw. Question number 13. You notice on physical assessment that Terry walks with a wide-spaced gait. In relation to this, you should do which of the following? A. As if there is a cartoon character she is mimicking. B. Alert her parents it is time to buy her bigger shoes. Letter C. Assess her hips because they may not be completely formed. Letter D. Assure her parents this is the full gait of a toddler. A, B, C, or D?
Feel ko letter B. Assure her parents this is a typical gait of a toddler. For me, team namin. Kayo ba? Bye.
Letter A.
Letter
Letter
A.
A. Kasi nung bata ako, ginaya ko rin si SpongeBob. Paano siya maglakad?
Kahit sinabi mo yan, Mr. Castillo, mag-demo ka.
Ganito lang kasi yun. Ganyan siya. Kaya ganyan na.
Oo, kaya tignan mo, hanggang ngayon ganyan pa rin siya.
Lumalaban na
Kahit
yung team mo.
teammate ko siya, agree ako.
Agree ka ba?
Agree. Kitang-kita ng action si Mr. Castillo.
Fun. Question number 14. Following QSEN competencies, what immunization would you want your care team to know that are usually administered if this were Terry's 15th month well-child visit? Choice A. Her first oral poliomyelitis injection. Letter B. Bacterial meningitis vaccine. Letter C. measles, mumps, and rubella immunization. And letter D, her second pertussis immunization.
Kailangan ko na yung team 1.
Ano sagot, Mr. Castillo?
Choice kami ng team 2. Kasi nung
Tama.
mga panahon na ganyan na ako kaliit, naalala ko, tinurukan ako. Sabi ng doktor, pang measles, mumps, tsaka rubella yan.
Wow! Naalala mo pa, napakatalino naman talaga ni Mr. Castillo. Team 1! Ako, dinaan kayo sa talino. Paano ba yan?
First time to na mag-a-agree ako kay Mr. Castillo. Choice din.
Choice
Thank
din.
Kami ngayong round.
Question number 15. Malapit-lapit na tayo matapos. Kapit lang kayong lahat dyan. Number 15, Terry does not always eat as much as her mother thinks she should. What is the type of food that would be healthy and that Terry might eat more readily? Choice A. Soft, squishy foods which don't need to be chewed. Letter B. Foods she can pick up readily in her fingers. Letter C. Fast foods such as French fries and onion rings. Letter D. Casseroles that cleverly disguise vegetables. A, B, C, or D?
C.
C. French
Letter A
fries. Letter A naman.
Si
C. French fries and onion rings.
Merienda.
Gutom na tayong lahat ah.
Favorite ko rin yung french fries, so C ako.
Letter C and letter A daw. Tama kaya itong mga sagot na itong mga kunars natin ngayong araw? Next! Natatapos na tayo sa multiple choice. We have the correct order questions naman. So dito, pagsusunod-sunurin nyo. A, B, C, D, C, D, A, D, or anything kung anong sa tingin yung tamang sagot. Number 21. List the following steps in the best order for parents to concentrate on for effective toilet training. So natanong ko ang toilet training kanina, so sana alam nyo ang tamang sagot. Letter A, nighttime dryness. Letter B, readiness training such as talking about the process. Letter C, depositing urine in the toilet. And letter D, defecation release. Ano ang pagkuna sa itong mga questions or mga choices na ito?
D. D. C. A.
BCAD.
Sa tingin namin yung mauuna is choice B. Kasi readiness. Saka kailangan mo na maging ready bago, di ba? Para makapag-start. Then, siguro next is yung C. Paano niya i-deposit. Pero since babae siya, nakaupo rin kasi. So, feel ko, ano muna, defecation. Then, saka yung ihi. Then yung nighttime. Since gabi, so last dapat siya.
Multi-response question. Which are instructions you would want to give a mother about the safe use of car seats for a toddler? Select all that apply. Letter A. She should use a backward-facing seat for a child younger than 2 years old. Letter B. Correct installation is integral to protecting her child in the car. Letter C. Car seats are not safe to use in automobiles with hatchbacks. And letter D. Car seats are not safe to use in automobiles with sunroofs. So, ano ang sa tingin ko mag-a-apply dito? Pwede nyo piliin A, B, C, D kung yan yung tama. Team 1 and Team 2.
B ako.
Feel ko B.
B. So, B lang. B
Sige,
lang
sige.
sa inyo. B. Wala nang
Go
ibang...
na sa
Oh, go,
Correct
go,
na
go.
sa-
May correct na sa word so baka yun yung...
Correct. May point naman. May point. Oh, go, go, go tayo sa letter B. Tapos na ang questions. Ito na ang pinakahihintay ng lahat. Ang mga sagot sa inyong mga katanungan. Question number 11.
So for number 11, Terry's mother tells you that Terry has a temper tantrum almost every night after dinner because she wants dessert. How would you advise her to handle this? Feeling ko, hindi pwedeng letter A. Mimic a temper tantrum to show how one looks. Ang rationale ko dito is because this may encourage the child to throw a tantrum more. And sa letter B naman, feeling ko hindi rin siya ulit pwede. Yung put a teaspoonful of sugar or honey on her tongue. Kasi baka mas maging hyper siya lalo. Yun. So this can cause hyperactivity, making the child more aggressive. And letter C, feeling ko hindi pa rin. Punish her by giving her time out for 15 minutes. Kasi masyadong mahaba yung 15 minutes. And long time outs can cause the child to feel abandoned and leads to more power struggles instead of teaching how to regulate emotions. And for the correct answer, ang answer namin is letter D. Tell her no one is listening to her and then ignore her. The best way is by saying they disapprove of the tantrum and then ignore it. And then, umalis ka saglit, iwanan mo muna yung child mo, and yung tantrum, eventually, magsa-stop naman na din yun. So, ayun.
Ayun, yung sumagot ng letter D, tumpak kayo. Question number 12.
So for the 12th question, on 2 occasions, Terry has held her breath until she turns blue, faints, and slumps to the floor when she doesn't like a food. Which of the following would assure that this was a temper tantrum and not a seizure? Para sa choice B or sa letter B, Terry slept following the episode and was difficult to rouse. So, hindi naman kasi ibig sabihin na dahil lang dun sa episode na yun, kaya siya nakatulog at mahirap siyang gisingin. Sometimes, iba yung mga child kapag pagod na pagod din sila, ganun. May time na mahirap din silang gisingin tapos nakakatulog sila. The episodes occurred when Terry was in public. Yung tantrums kasi, it could occur anywhere. So, wala siyang pinipiling lugar. So, yung mga bata, kung saan nila mapiling, kunwari, pag di sila napagbigyan, pwedeng dun na mismo yon sa time na yon or kahit nasan man sila. I think it's not the correct answer. Then, moving forward to letter C. For letter D naman, the episode occurred when Terry was eating. So, parang wala namang evidence dyan sa nabanggit din kanina na si Terry is nag-act like that during every meal. So, I think it's not the correct answer. So, for the correct answer, it is letter A. The episode occurred when Terry was provoked. So, kasi kung mapapansin natin dito sa question na to, nabanggit naman na parang hinuhold niya yung breath niya. Breath holding is also one of the signs of tantrums. Meaning, napoprovoke siya kasi hindi niya nakukuha yung gusto niya. Like for example, ayaw niya nga ng pagkain tapos pinipilit mo siya. So, napoprovoke yung tantrums niya.
Question number 13.
You notice on physical assessment that Terry walks with a wide space gait. In relation to this, you should do which of the following? Letter A, feel ko mali. Ang rationale ko dito is because given sa 2.5 age ni Terry, maybe this is not helpful because asking does not really work sa ganong edad. And next, yung choice B, feel ko din mali siya because rationale ko dito is not really the best for the case because this does not affect the wide space gait, which is normal. Two soles that are firm enough to protect the feet is one that is required. Stronger arc support and a bigger pair of shoes would not make any difference. Also, letter C is also wrong because case is not hip related. And for the correct answer is letter D. Assure her parents this is the typical gait of a toddler. Ang rationale ko dito is a wide space gait is common, natural, characteristic for toddlers. It helps in keeping balance and this will be a natural correct as they become more experienced walker.
Proceed with question number 14.
For number 14, following QSE and competency SWOT immunizations would want your care team to know that are usually administered if this were Terry's 15th month while child visit. For choice A, sa tingin ng team namin, hindi siya yung tamang sagot since yung first oral poliomyelitis is given between 12 to 15 months. And Yung letter B naman, yung bacterial meningitis vaccine, hindi siya included sa immunizations for infants, and usually pag ano pa siya, pag tanda pa, much later years pa or months. And next, for the choice D, her second pertussis immunization, binibigay siya sa 15th month, pero ang ano sa kanya is pang 4th dose na. Kaya hindi siya pasok. Kaya sa tingin ng team namin, ang sagot is C, measles, mumps, and rubella immunization. Since binibigay siya between 12 to 15 months, yung pinaka-first dose niya. Kaya, yun, sa tingin ng team namin, C ang sagot.
Question number 15.
For question number 15, Terry does not always eat as much as her mother thinks she should. What is a type of food that would be healthy and that Terry might eat more readily? So for choice A, our team thinks hindi ito tama kasi soft and squishy foods might make a mess while eating kapag kumakain yung bata. Letter C, hindi rin kasi halata naman na fast foods are not healthy choice food for child, lalo na sa age ni Terry. Tapos letter D, casseroles that cleverly disguise vegetables is also not correct because it is best to give the child food that they can be familiar with easily, lalo na kapag small pieces pa. So, the correct answer is letter B, foods she can pick up readily in her fingers. This method may promote independence to the child since she can pick the food up and feed herself.
Ako mukhang walang tumama sa mga nagsagot ng letter C at letter A. Next, we have the correct order questions.
So for question number 21, list the following steps in the best order for parents to concentrate on for effective toilet training. Meron tayong choice A na nighttime dryness, choice B, readiness training such as talking about the process, choice C, depositing urine in the toilet, and choice D, defecation release. So, ang right na pagkakasunod-sunod po nito is B, which is readiness training such as talking about the process, then D, defecation release, A, nighttime dryness, and C, depositing urine in the toilet. So, bakit nga ba readiness training? Kasi po, may mga bata na sa situation nila is hindi pa nila kayang sumunod or gawin talaga yung pag-poop doon sa proper toilet. So habang bata pa sila, habang di pa nila kaya, pwede na silang turuan na kung paano ba yung process para magkaroon sila ng idea na gano'n nangyayari yung bagay na yon. And then next is yung defecation release. Ito yung parang pag-control ng bata doon sa bowel movement niya or sa urine niya. Kaya ito yung pangalawa. So yung pangatlo naman is nighttime dryness. Pag nighttime dryness is para magkaroon ng idea yung bata na paggabi kailangan tuyo siya, so kailangan niyang i-control yung niya, yung urine output niya at saka yung pag-poop niya. And then lastly, yung depositing urine in the toilet. By that action kasi may isip ng bata na okay, yung urine and yung poop pala ay dapat nakalagay talaga sa toilet na magmo-motivate sa kanya na siya mismo yung lalapit sa toilet every time na natatay siya or naiit. Ayan po.
Multi-response questions. Number 22. Which are instructions you would want to give a mother about the safe use of car seats for a toddler? Select all that apply. So, sa tingin namin na ang choice C, which is car seats are not safe to use in automobiles with hatchbacks. So, hindi siya tama dahil hatchbacks are known to be safe for toddler, rear-facing seat or backward-facing seat. Car seats with hatchbacks is not a risk for toddlers for as long as you installed yung seat properly. So, wala sa type ng kotse yon for as long as naka-install yung seat properly para safe ang baby or ang toddler. Choice D is mali din. Car seats are not safe to use on automobiles with sunroofs. Automobiles with sunroofs are also safe for car seats for as long as tama if na-follow yung practice ng
care safety tips.
Thus, proper installation of the seat appropriate for toddlers are done. So, for as long as tama yung pagkaka-install ng car seat and it is not a hazard for toddlers. The answer are letter A and letter B. So letter A is the correct answer. She should use a backward-facing seat for a child younger than 2 years old. So ang rationale for that is that toddlers ride in a rear-facing or backward-facing nakatalikod doon sa parang driver seat and sa front seat until they reach the highest weight and height limits recommended by the seat's manufacturer. The experts say to do this based on child size, not age. Yung pag backward-facing or rear-facing seat ng toddlers is to prevent them at risk for frontal collisions during car accidents. And ang letter B, tama rin yung sagot nyo na correct installation is integral to protecting her child in the car. So, rationale for that, this is to ensure that the child is protected during the car travel and to serve its purpose. Correct installation must be done in line with what's written in the car safety seat manual. Round 2 results. Sa tingin nyo guys, may eliminate ba or wala? Swerte ba kayo ngayong araw na to o hindi?
Hindi ko
Si Ian.
Si Lady yung may eliminate.
Nako, mukhang malakas talaga ang guardian angel nyo dahil tie ang inyong mga puntos. You have garnered 7 points for Team 1 and you have 7 points for Team 2. So, andito na tayo sa pinaka-last part ng ating round. So, this is the last part or last round for the Minute to Minute Nursing Edition.
Last
Sige.
one.
Naku pa, baka ang ating players ngayon ay hindi magaling manghula ng title. Hindi pa rin ang inyong title dahil ang title ay...
Alagang Group 3, the nursing care plans. Ingat!
Naku pa, Iyan by Jessica.
Aray.
So, for the third round or the last round, the two teams will have to develop a total of 3 nursing care plans with regards to the case study given kanina. So, familiar naman kayong lahat sa nursing care plan, di ba?
Yeah.
Yon. So,
Ewan ko lang kay Ian.
the team who will get the most points wins the final round.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Okay! Group 1 and Group 2, ano ang inyong mga diagnosis? May naisip na ba kayo?
Siyempre secret muna kasi baka gayahin ni Ian.
Naku, ayaw ko.
Wala naman.
Sagot.
Wala na naman.
30 seconds. Mukhang mabigat ang ating task ngayon dahil wala kang sasalita sa mga Ten, 9, 2, and time is up. So, we move on to the nursing care plans. Alagang Group 3, ingat!
Ingat.
The nursing care plan number 1.
So, for the assessment, for subjective data, all she says is no, no, no. Shouldn't she speak in sentences by now? And for the second one, the client also feels that her child might have a delay in language development or in typical milestones. And the client also states that her child won't talk to the clinic personnel. Moving forward to the objective data, the physical examination of the child showed for the ears, normal alignment, TMS pink with cone of light present, moderate amount of cerumen in left canal, The drum are not obstructed. And also, the child turns toward the whispered word. Um, Hearing is comparable to the examiners. So for the mouth and throat, palate are intact, 20 teeth present, no cavities, gag reflex is active. And the child refused to repeat words for the examiner. For the nursing diagnosis, it is knowledge deficit related to unfamiliarity with growth and development of a child as evidenced by expectation for client's child to speak in sentences at 2 years of age and lack of knowledge regarding the toddler developmental milestones. For the short-term goals, after 2 hours of nursing intervention, the client must understand the level of language development appropriate for the child, for the age of her child, and also Terry's mother will be educated and will be able to verbalize the toddler growth and development. For the long-term goals, after a week of nursing intervention, the client will have a variety of methods for approach and interaction with the toddler.
So interventions, we have independent, collaborative, and dependent interventions.
For that independent intervention, first is establish rapport because rapport helps to build a trusting relationship with the client, making it easy to perform the following interventions. Next is deal with the significant others, the husband or anxiety or strong emotions, present information out of sequence. Anxiety or the other strong emotion can interfere with the ability to learn. Next is develop with patient-specific learning goals with target dates, involving patients in planning meaningful goals, encourage compliance. And next is provide relevant information. Um, Keep the client focused and prevent from feeling overwhelmed. Next is explain that each toddler is unique and the development is in a wide range of time and on a case-by-case basis to make the client understand that all toddlers are not the same and that they do not have a strict schedule for development to follow. Next is teach a variety of methods to encourage speech and language development. Environment plays a crucial role in speech and language development. Lack of a verbal stimulation and an effective approach can slow a child down from reaching developmental milestones. Next is provide information about additional learning resource like website, videos, and many other. Um, it is because it may encourage further learning and promote the client to learning at her own pace. And lastly, encourage family members to participate in the and and have patience toward learning process. It is to help create a therapeutic environment for child.
As for the collaborative intervention, nilagay namin is refer to pediatrician to give thorough examinations and provide more therapeutic measures. And for the dependent intervention, consult with physician for any information about the child's developmental stage. It's rationale, physician's intervention could open more ideas on what a client needs to be aware of. And last, evaluation. The goal was met as evidenced by the client was able to understand and verbalize the growth and development milestones of each child. The client will be more patient and have different approach with the toddler.
So that is for our nursing care plan number 1. And we move on to the nursing care plan number 2. For assessment, subjective data Client verbalizes that Terry attends daycare center from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Next, client states she and her husband do not try to keep a smoke-free area for their child. While for objective data, Terry's mother has a degree in chemistry and works as a researcher in a local chemical plant. Next, Terry's father is a personnel manager at the same company. And last, both of Terry's parents smoke.
So for our diagnosis, we have impaired parenting related to insufficient parental role models as evidenced by the smoking habits of the parents and the child being left at the daycare for a long period of time.
So for the planning, under short-term goals, in 3 hours, both parents will be able to verbalize their understanding about their situation clearly and will be able to come up with a new parenting pattern. Under long-term goals, after 2 weeks, the parents will be able to adapt to their new parenting routine and they are able to understand the situation in the family.
And then for our intervention, we have independent intervention, collaborative intervention, and the dependent intervention. Let's go first sa independent intervention. So first in the list is assess the parent's knowledge or perspective about the word parenting. The rationale behind this is it will give the nurses a good foundation in establishing effective health teaching. Second is note absence from home setting or lack of child supervision by parents. The rationale is it demands of working long hours, multiple responsibilities such as working will affect relationship between parent and child. Ability to provide care and nurturing necessary for children to grow and prosper. Next is assess the parent's cigarette abuse and determine its impact in the parent's ability to apply proper parenting. The rationale behind that is the negative effects of the cigarette can hinder the parents in producing a good parenting routine. Next is emphasize parenting functions rather than mothering skills. The rationale behind that is by virtue of gender, each person brings something to the parenting role. However, nurturing tasks can be done by both parents. And then we have evaluate each member of the family to determine whether basic emotional and mental needs are being met. The rationale behind that is in order to have a background in the perspective of every member of the family. Next is assist the family in arranging for a distribution of workload. It will help the parents to have more time with their child and understand and evaluate the situation clearly. Next is do a health teaching about the proper interpretation of the children's gesture. The rationale behind that is it may help the parents or mother to have an idea about their child's gesture that will help them to achieve a feeling of relief. Next is assist client in finding alternative ways to do instead of smoking in each situation. And it will help the client smoking progressively and eventually end the urge to smoke.
So for the collaborative intervention, we have collaborate with other nurses in assessing individual members in the family. So for the rationale, this is to have a better understanding about each family member's perspective and broaden the knowledge of nurses, resulting in developing suitable interventions. For the dependent intervention, we consult with a physician regarding parenting strategies. This is to be informed about the different parenting styles that parents can do to effectively develop a rapport with their child. And last, enlist assistance from social workers that may be helpful to the family or parent. So the rationale for that, members of the family may not be aware of the roles which they are entitled to.
For the evaluation, the goal was met as evidenced by the parents being able to control their smoking habits and parents being able to have a quality time with their infant, resulting in better understanding of their child.
So that's it for our nursing care plan number 2. And lastly, nursing care plan number 3.
For the assessment, we have here the subjective data, where the client states she works in the chemical industry and is concerned chemicals affected Terry mentally during her pregnancy. And she is also concerned the same thing will happen to the baby from the present pregnancy. And for the objective data, there is none.
For the diagnosis is risk for post-trauma syndrome related to the duration of the event as evidenced by the client verbalizing that she is concerned that the same thing will happen to the baby from the present pregnancy.
And for the planning, after 4 hours of nursing intervention, the client will show signs of decreased anxiety and the current situation of her child and of her pregnancy.
For the intervention, we have independent, collaborative, and dependent interventions. We'll start with the independent intervention. Establish strong rapport with the client to ensure that the client is comfortable to be given help and in exchange of information. Second is assess the client's mental, emotional, and social health. This is to check if the client has any underlying mental illness that results in her being anxious towards her daughter's language development. Next is identify the client's support system. To have a better understanding as to why the client is experiencing anxiety and if she is receiving basic help. Next is educate the patient regarding the expected development of her toddler to make the client understand that some actions of her toddler are just normal for her age. And next is educate the client how to improve communication with her child to relieve anxiety when communicating to her child with limited words. The last one is encourage the client to be more patient. The rationale behind this is to be relaxed and not affect the current pregnancy.
And for the collaborative intervention, collaborate with a speech pathologist. This is if after the changes in approach is applied and still no improvement, it's best to refer to a speech pathologist to better understand the reasons behind the language skills of the child. For the dependent intervention, consult with a pediatrician to ensure that the child is normal and is just starting to develop her language skills.
And our evaluation would be the goal was met as evidenced by the client verbalizing relief and showing signs of calmness.
So that's it for our nursing care plans. So congratulations everyone, you have done a great job during this task. So this is your certificate of participation. This certificate is awarded to Team 1 players for successfully finishing the Minute to Win It Nursing Edition Challenge with high points. And also, we have Team 2, syempre hindi papatalo. Team 2, meron din silang certificate of participation. So, ayan na nga po. Thank you for listening. So, thank you guys for listening. Dito na po nagtatapos ang Minute to Win It Nursing Edition. So, paalala, ang lagi tandaan, magmahal ng nursing student dahil case study nga, pinaglalaban nila, kayo pa kaya. Thank you very much.